Hi, how are you doing? Hope all is great. Well, this Fani Willis trial is a mess, and it's a warning to all women, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, all women. They can come after you because they think you are invulnerable. I say they think you are vulnerable. Now, Fani, but her name is spelled F-A-N-I, Fanny. Her parents knew this butt was going to get her in trouble, and here she is now. Hearings about her sex life. This is never done. Never done. It's unbelievable that the prosecutor would be called in and have days and days of hearings about who she was trucking. Who she's trucking. Well, who cares? She's trucking somebody on the same side of the fence of the law that she's on, and it has absolutely no place in the Donald Trump stealing 11,780 votes from the citizens of Georgia. What in the world is going on? Well, I understand, because Trump will appeal on everything that they try to clear up all these messes that Trump brings up. He wants to delay this trial, and he does not care whose life he messes up. He doesn't care that Fani Willis will be known not for her excellent legal work or her great history of bringing RICO cases successfully. He doesn't care anything about this woman or any man. He just is willing to sacrifice everybody for his own sake. He wants this job as president, and let me tell you, this guy is not at all qualified for the job. If he applied to me, no way would he get it, even if he weren't Donald Trump and this wasn't the president of the United States job that he is vying for. But there's little Fani, successful lawyer, elected as district attorney. Job of district attorney requires you to get out into the public. You have to win an election. So that means you're fundraising, you're meeting with all kinds of people, you're building bridges so that you can stay in the job if you want to be in there for more than one term, and most of them do. It's a comfortable job, and people go into it, seem to like it. So here she is being marched into trying to make her on trial in order to deflect away from Donald Trump's violation of the Constitution of the United States by stealing 11,780 votes from the citizens of Georgia. And she lets them know she is not the person on trial. Donald Trump is on trial. They're trying to deflect. They're trying to make people forget what the trial is about. The trial is about Donald Trump. It is not about Fani Willis. And now people are trying to make judgments on Fani Willis based on who in the world did she truck and when did she truck them. And most of the witnesses they're bringing in have no personal knowledge. All they're doing is saying, did you see Fani Willis with Mr. Wade? Yes, I saw them once or twice. Well, they try to make that association, but she's the district attorney. She is the public face of law and order for Fulton County. She's going to be meeting with every single attorney that she can. She is going to be building bridges for her career and to help make friends for future cases. Seeing an attorney with Fani Willis does not mean anything, and she has to make subcontracts as she did with Mr. Wade. Now the question with Mr. Wade is, was he an attorney? Yes, he is. Was he a licensed attorney? Well, according to them, yes, he is. Is he qualified? to do the job? I mean, is he a criminal attorney who is qualified to handle this case of Donald Trump? According to the resources, yes, he is. Is he accepting too much money for the job? Well, I'm told he's getting $150,000. I don't know if that number is right or not, but certainly that is not too much for an attorney. Ask Donald Trump how much he's paying his attorneys. Huge amounts, huge amounts. And how many hours are those attorneys working? They're working long hours because Donald Trump has many attorneys, and they have to coordinate their case. They have to get the evidence. They have to figure out how they're going to present it. They have to figure out their wording. They have to do everything. Get all any papers they're going to file, and they have to any posters they're going to present, or anything else, any pictures they need. They have to look up codes and other laws, and then they try to get Fanny on breaking certain municipal codes that talk about, whether or not she can, associates the word, associate with people underneath her, other attorneys who are working under her. But they are forgetting that Donald Trump broke the law in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which says once you have taken a government job and you are held to be an officer in that job, as Donald Trump did when he took the office of the president. Donald Trump doesn't even know he held an office, so was an officer. He held the office of the president, and he took an oath in front of all of us to uphold the office and defend the Constitution. But after he did that, then he organized a riot, an uprising, an insurrection to overthrow the government. And according to the 14th Amendment in the Constitution of the United States, Section 3, once you've done that series of things, you are not eligible to come back into the government and hold another public job because you've already violated your oath of office. And yes, it is an office of the president. And so you are not trustworthy to hold the office because you're a wild card. People don't know what you're doing, and you are trying to overthrow the government. Perhaps you're trying to be king, or you're trying to be Putin. Did you hear Putin just killed another one of his enemies, who was held in the gulag for 19 years. You think he's been 19 years, you must be getting out. But instead, I guess he was getting ready to get out, or he had just gotten out of the gulag. Putin had the man poisoned. So 19 years, come out, you get poisoned by the leader of Russia. This is not what we want in the United States. This is not what we want in the United States. We don't want a leader who can kill people at will. These are the things Donald Trump is asking to do. Are people crazy? They want this kind of person? Do you see people rushing to get into Russia? To be Russian citizens? Or maybe they are, but I don't hear about it. So we have a certain type of country. We have certain laws which we are living by and we approve of. And if Donald Trump wants to be a king or a despot or other leader, which he can do whatever he wants, well, this is the wrong country for him. He needs to leave the United States and he needs to find his own country where he can do that kind of thing. Go back to Epstein, where on the island, Epstein could do whatever he wanted to those people, especially to those children that he held on the island and abused and even killed if they threatened to tell what was going on. Go back to Epstein Island. It's probably still available. And Trump can be head of Epstein Island. But We don't want him in the United States. We don't want that kind of leader, and we don't want that kind of country. We don't want a leader killing people because they don't agree with him. Well, this whole thing is a farce. I'm going to show a little bit more. Now, what other country could the person who put on trial for his crimes against the country, stealing the votes of 11,780 citizens, could he then come in court and say that the prosecutor is unqualified because she was trucking and the person that she's working with is a person with whom she was trucking? A lot of these people do find relationships. Even in the O.J. Simpson trial, the two lead attorneys developed a relationship with each other. As you're going to, you have to have a relationship in these jobs because you're going to be spending long hours all day and in the night, and sometimes you won't even go to sleep. You'll be up all night working. You spend so many hours together that you become familiar with each other, and at times your hormones might rise. And it's not that you're in love, it's not that it is a romance, it's just a hormonal urge during the time you're working together. That's why so many people go to work and they end up with work wives and work husbands. These aren't necessarily people they want to live at home with, although sometimes they do. Sometimes they do break up a marriage and the work wife and work husband or work husband will become the real wife or husband in the future. But a lot of times these are just relationships you have at work because you're at work so long. And that just happens. There's nothing you can do to stop the work husband, work wife situations which do develop between some people. And these are people who are just thrown into work together. You know, they both applied for a job at a certain company. They get the job. They're sitting at their desk, and before you know it, they have a friendship. Before you know it, they're having lunch together, and they might be having similarities in their lives, and they start getting closer and closer. But that does not make them unqualified to do the job. If it did, then they should leave. But in this situation, Fani and Mr. Wade, the other attorney, were able and capable to do their job. The lead attorney was not being paid too much, and so that was actually a deal, financial deal for the county. They were getting an expert attorney at a reasonable price, and everybody has said that the work done by Fani and Attorney Wade was top-notch. No problems with the job that they were doing. And they're enthusiastic, and they're putting in time. I mean, they're not sneaking off for, knocking off work early or coming in late. They're doing their job. Both very successful and well worth the money that's being spent for this case. Look at Trump's side. How much is he spending for his attorneys? I bet he's spending a whole lot more than Fulton County is spending on their attorneys. But only in this situation against Donald Trump could a man who's been found guilty of rape in the court of law, a man who says it's okay to grab women by their pussies, and he has done it many times. He says it's okay because he is wealthy, and so that gives him a privilege. It gives him a privilege to grab women in their private parts without any consent or with any awareness. And where he had that whole pageant thing where he was going in and oogling the girls, touching them inappropriately. in the dressing rooms. He said he had that privilege because he owned the pageant. So he could go into the changing rooms, the bathrooms, or whatever, whenever he wanted, and stay as long as he wanted and do whatever he wanted because he was a privileged man who could do that. And we'll add a white man who could do that. So now we have a person who's a rapist, a molester, and who knows what he's done to poor Ivanka. I'm sure she's been inappropriately touched by Trump also during her life, according to how he treats her. And now he's going after this woman who has spent years getting her degree, hard work, has a nice job, a lot of responsibility, is competent and capable, skilled, and saying that basically on the fact that she had consensual, not like Trump, where he did things without consent or even by surprise, but she had consensual relationship with the person she is working with on this case, that she should be thrown out. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But, you know. So let's look at some of these people who are here. Now, this is one of the attorneys who's coming in against Fanny. Now, this woman, I'm sure, has had relationships with attorneys. You know, she's coming in her high heels, dyed hair, makeup, and so forth, short skirt, knee-length skirt. And so we need to ask her who she's been having sexual relations with, who she approached in a romantic way. What is a romance? You know, they have people that they are questioning. Did Fanny and Attorney Wade have a romantic relationship? Well, no one's going to know that. A lot of times, even the people in a relationship don't know if it's really romantic or is it just a sexual attraction, momentary sexual attraction. You know, romantic, these are things that really can be testified to by outsiders. Yet they have people that they're interrogating. Did Fanny walk into the office? Well, who cares? She's the public defender. She's the district attorney. Did Fanny go into Mr. Wade's office? Who cares? She's supposed to go into his office. She's supposed to be there for periods of time. She's supposed to not only talk business, she's also supposed to talk about social things because she will have to get money for her next election. The questions are crazy, they're off the wall, and they really don't even have anything to do with her ability to handle the case. And if Fanny is not...
However, there is a proposal to...
Hold on just a second.
Other witnesses. Why don't we start with the state? Ms. Cross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, in order to be efficient with the court's time.
Hold on here just a second.
Out of order, and it sounds as though there's no objection.
And if they're saying Fani Willis is not capable of handling this case because she was trucking her co-attorney, well, maybe this woman isn't capable of being here to talk about her because maybe she was doing the same thing with one of her co-attorneys. So maybe she needs to go on the stand also, and we need to investigate her and her office and all of these guys that are pouncing on Fanny and asking her questions about let's see what's going on, including this old guy. I'm sure he has approached many women, attorneys, customers, clients, and so forth in the past and maybe even in the present. We need to investigate these guys. If they're going to investigate two minority attorneys, well, then we need to also investigate the attorneys on the other side. Everybody needs to put their sexual, romantic history on the table, and we need to just inquire about all of them. Also, they try to say, well, Fanny was trucking when Mr. Wade wasn't fully divorced. Well, we know our legal system doesn't work. It takes some people years. If you look on Real Housewives of Atlanta, the one lady, she's been getting a divorce for years. It's crazy. The relationship has ended. They are no longer living as husband and wife. They are able to truck elsewhere, but the legal system will take years and years to catch up. So you can't go by that. You can't say he can't truck until the legal system catches up, because the legal system lags way, way, way behind what people are actually doing. So I could go on and on. I think this is just an embarrassment for the legal system, and it is something that women, they're going to go against all women. And if you get into a position where you're up against somebody who wants to delay or cause you problems, this is the way they're going to do it. So what do you think? Like and subscribe. Bye.